So, to give a little context, this is from a short story that's kind of turning into a novelette called The Library of Meadowsea. It's about two siblings, and they're running into, or they entered this field of endless flowers that's going to give them some problems on their journey. After a few hours of walking, the fear had receded to the back of Boswell's mind. At first, he'd felt bad about crushing so many flowers, but when he'd looked back to see his progress, the colorful growths underfoot did not appear to be smashed or flattened at all. It was as if he'd never walked through at all, making it even more apparent that this was no normal field of flowers. Though the smell had been bearable at first, the sweetness of the flowers was becoming cloying in nature, settling in the depths of Boswell's nostrils and throat. Sweat dripped from the tip of his nose as the afternoon sun bathed them with its gaze. Anthony's scream suddenly pierced the day, making Boswell jump up. "What?" Boswell asked his sister, who was staring at something off to her right. All she could do was point a trembling finger. Cautiously, Boswell walked towards the object of Anthony's fear, and upon sighting it, recoiled himself. The heavily charred remains of a skeleton, blackened and broken. Flowers had sprouted through the empty ribcage, as if not a care in the world was given to the corpse. "That's it. I'm turning back," said Anthony, forgetting the simple condition that would not allow her to do so. Vines had shot up to wrap themselves around the foot she'd lifted up, anchoring her in place. "Let me go!" Anthony screamed, unsheathing her knife and futilely attempting to cut at the stems that reached to keep her from going back the way they'd come. "Antha, don't!" shouted Boswell, but his words were caught up and thrown away by a sudden and fierce wind that buffeted the siblings. They were both knocked down to the ground, the flowers rushing up to meet them. Boswell covered the back of his head, waiting for whatever punishment the flowers intended to enact. Would he feel the intense heat of some unholy fire that had burned the skeleton so thoroughly? Boswell felt an arm snake around his back, and he shrieked, but the familiar face of Anthony came into view beside his own, and he realized his sister was trying to shield him from the intense, roaring wind. "Hold on," said Anthony's lips, even though Boswell could not hear the words themselves. Something else was happening. The petals of the flowers around them were shifting in color, and were doing so in ripples that emanated from their position. The smell of rotting eggs suddenly pervaded the world around them, and Boswell wondered if this was the end. But as suddenly as the wind had come, it was gone, taking the smell of sulfur with it. The flowers settled into their usual colors, no longer changing wildly. And before the siblings, a green path devoid of flowers had appeared, leading to the end of the flower patch. In the distance, where nothing had stood before, there was now a massive stone building looming over them. The library of all things, waiting. Thank you.